Technology Group, and in today's video we're going to talk about Voice over IP Auto Attendants Explained. How do they work, and what is the benefits of one for your business? But before we get into that, as always, you're watching the #1 channel on all things business phone systems and business internet services related tips, tricks, and things you need to know about how to choose the right services. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new content that we release, and you're notified every time we upload a new video. We upload new videos every single week, so hit that subscribe button right now. So, what is an auto attendant? An auto attendant is essentially an AI-powered receptionist that can screen and filter all your business calls. Traditionally, virtual receptionists, which is also another word for auto attendant, typically use sequential options, such as press 1 to speak with this person, press 2 for this department, press 3 for this option. Some auto attendants, or virtual receptionists as they're also called, can also use or utilize certain types of call screening. Let me explain. Some of you have probably heard when you call a number and it says something to the effect of, it says something like, please state your name before the beep, or please state your name and the reason for your call, or please state your name and the name of your company. This is so that the person on the other end, after you hit the pound key or confirm whatever it is that you say, they will get something on their end that says call from this person with this reason or with this business, so that they can filtrate calls in a certain fashion or however they need to minimize the amount of, the ratio of productive calls to non-productive calls. So in short, an auto attendant is essentially, basically a virtual receptionist. It's an AI-powered receptionist that can answer your calls and hand over your calls to certain parties or transfer them as needed based on where the caller needs to go without the use of an actual human being. So, next thing, how is a virtual receptionist or auto attendant programmed? Unlike older phone systems with voice over IP, your auto attendant quite literally resides in the cloud. In the old days, older phone systems, it resided on like the back wall or something like that, where it was actually on a hard drive or connected to a motherboard, where not only did you have to actually go to the physical machine in your office to program it with a computer or laptop or whatever it was, you had to actually call out, specialized technicians or telecommunications experts to be able to make changes to your auto attendant or troubleshoot your auto attendant or change it for vacations or holidays or things like that. Not the case with auto attendants with voice over IP or hosted voice over IP solutions nowadays. It is totally in the cloud, which means it can be administered, managed, and also have changes made to it or even troubleshot from anywhere that you have access to an internet connection. It's always backed up, and it is not vulnerable to things like acts of God and things like that, which was the case with older phone systems. The most notable and most popular features typically included with an auto attendant or that people want with a virtual receptionist are unlimited auto attendants. This is quite literally the ability to have unlimited auto attendants so that you can either have auto attendants within auto attendants, maybe like, it may say something like, for the sales department, press 2. Then once you press 2 for sales department, it says something to the effect of, if you're calling about boat sales, press 1. If you're calling about aircraft sales, press 2. If you're calling about RV sales, press 3. Because there might be different salesmen or different teams of salesmen that handle those different things. One of the other features is typically most auto attendants are basically utilizing the non-options, schematic or format, whereas press 1 for this, press 2 for that, press 4 for this, press 8 for that. You have as many options as the dial pad will allow, which is usually up to 9, but you can also use the star and the pound key with most auto attendants. As a matter of fact, at the time of this video, we have only, I think, an options 1 through 4, but we actually use the star key to be able to allow people to repeat the menu if they need to be able to listen to the menu again, or if they didn't hear one of the prompts correctly or completely. Another really important feature that is probably one of the most sought after features with auto attendant is after hours business auto attendant. Different companies call it different things, but essentially what the after hours business auto attendant is the ability to have a different auto attendant recording for your outside of normal business hours. So for example, whereas us at Rich Technology Group may have, thank you for calling Rich Technology Group. Your call is very important. Thank you for calling Rich Technology Group. please listen to the following options the following options carefully. If you know your party's extension, please dial at any time during this message. But our after hours might say something like, thank you for calling Rich Technology Group. You've reached us outside of our normal business hours. Calls may be, answering calls may be limited, but please listen to the following options below to either get in contact with the person you need to speak with or leave a voicemail for the party that you'd like to talk to. Something like that. It could be whatever you want it to be, but I figured this one would be important for this video because that's probably the biggest feature that I get asked about regularly, is people wanting to be able to have a different recording for outside of whatever they classify as their normal business hours. The other nice thing about after hours, the after business hours auto attendant, is that you can program it within different hours, individually for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can program it differently for each day individually in case your hours differ. For example, doctors tend to have some very interesting hours, doctor's office that I've worked with, and rental offices like rental properties that I've worked with typically have different hours on Saturday. Usually they're closed on a Sunday, except for like maintenance, like emergency maintenance when we've worked with them. But Saturdays are open, but it's a very different set of shortened hours than what they normally are open on Monday through Friday. Next one is Vacation Auto Attendant. Vacation Auto Attendant is exactly what it sounds like. Vacation Auto Attendant is the ability to have a completely different recording during a vacation schedule or a particular vacation day or vacation week, however your business may need to set that up. The beauty about Vacation Auto Attendant with most providers that offer this setting is you have the ability to go into it and set it up individually for all of the different holidays. And once that holiday is over, or that vacation is over, or whatever you deem it as is over, whenever you want it to be over, down to the day, hour, minute, it will automatically go back to your regular auto attendant settings. So that's a very nice feature for those of you who are watching who are thinking, what if I could set up a different recording for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, for New Year's, and just set it and forget it? You could do that with a lot of these voice over IP systems. And then the minute that holiday ends, for whatever day or whatever you've decided that you want that holiday or that vacation period to end, the system will automatically go back to playing the normal recording that it would play during your normal business hours or outside of your normal business hours. Dial by name is another one that's actually really popular and sought after. Even though we don't personally use that here at Rich Technology Group, I work with a lot of people that have a lot of employees. Somebody might be calling into a company and they may not know what the extension number for, a Mr. John Doe or a Mrs. Sally or Mrs. Jane Doe or whatever it may be. They may not know that person's extension. So to be able to say, to press an option that says dial by name, and then say the first name or the last name of that person, or type in something for that, is actually a very powerful way to find people within a large or mid-sized organization where you just don't know what the extension number is. And that actually brings us to our final one, extension numbers. Extension numbers are a pretty obvious thing, but with most auto attendants, with most of the hosted voice over IP service providers, extension numbers have to go by a minimum of a 3-digit extension, and I think they can usually go up to as high as 4 digits. At the time of this video, I've had many people ask me for 2 digits, and I've had to let them know, sorry, you're gonna have to add a 1 or something to your existing extensions. But I've never seen anybody that's gone up as high as 5 extensions, 5 extension numbers. It's usually just been 3 or 4 numbers in an extension number. Extensions are pretty self-explanatory. It's the ability to give each individual a unique extension number, not only for people within the office to be able to call them, but for people to be able to dial that number while listening to the auto attendant if they know that person's extension, or most commonly used is to be able to transfer calls back and forth to somebody's extension or conference them in by way of their extension. But the ability to be able to dial an extension in the auto attendant is probably one of the most commonly used features. That's a given with most all service providers. How much does an auto attendant cost? At the time of this video, and with most of these service providers that you guys see me talk about on this channel, auto attendant is an included feature. It's a free feature included with the package. Even if you're on a base package, it's usually included, whether you're on a basic or a mid-tier or a premium or whatever that may be, an enterprise, it's kind of a given at this point. Not only is it a given or a free feature included with the package, you usually have access to unlimited auto attendants, as I mentioned above. Some of you who may be watching this may be thinking, what if I don't want to use an auto attendant? Then you don't have to. I work with a lot of customers that prefer the personal touch. They do not want any of the phone calls for their callers being answered by any sort of like robot or artificial intelligence or anything like that. However, I do come across a lot of businesses that they do want somebody to try to answer the phone every chance they get, but they like to let it go to the auto attendant if nobody within their office answers the calls that come in. That way, if nobody answers, it goes to something that allows that person to pick the options they want and get routed in the way that they see fit. One final pro tip that I want to throw out there for you guys that are watching. Auto attendants can be really, really effective at blocking unwanted spam calls and robocalls. As a matter of fact, at the time of this video, we actually have been using an auto attendant for almost a couple of years here at Rich Technology Group. As you can imagine, being on YouTube, being on Twitter, Facebook, and all that, and being relatively popular on the internet, we get a lot of not only real cold callers, but annoying, cumbersome, and time-consuming robocalls and spam calls where it's something calling about some car insurance on a car that I haven't owned since I was 17 or 16 years old and first got my driver's license. We noticed when we cut on the auto attendant that we went from getting approximately 40 robocalls a week to probably only 1 or 2 a month, if that. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, man, I get a lot of automated spam calls, an auto attendant could really cut back on those significantly because most robocall machines or computers or whatever it is that they use nowadays to do those, they are just that. They're a robot. They're a bot of some sort. And while they can play an automated message if you answer, they're not programmed to be able to quite understand your auto attendant enough to press buttons and navigate through it seamlessly. So anyways, if you're watching this video and you're wondering if an auto attendant is right for your business or not, or if you're wondering which voice over IP service providers out there offer the best auto attendant for your business at the right price for their package, give us a shout. We represent all of the major voice over IP service providers in the market. Our consulting service is free. We're paid by the service providers, so you have nothing to lose. And also, you can get special pricing that you would otherwise not be able to get on your own if you go through us first before reaching out to the service providers directly. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a like. As I mentioned earlier in the video, we upload new content every single week, and you are watching the #1 channel on all things business phone systems and business internet-related tips, tricks, and things you need to know. So hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of our content and you're notified when new videos drop. As always, this is Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, your go-to guy for the best deals on business phone and internet service in the United States. I'll catch you guys again in the next video.